You're watching The Line Makers exclusively on SportingNews.com, presented by Jack Daniels.
Hey folks, Pittsburgh's at Cincinnati. Brian Blessing with Rick Herron and Richie Bachelari. Steelers open 1.5, guys, up to 2.5. Total on the game is 46. In deference to our good friend Rick Herron, who's a long-time Pittsburgh Steelers fan and supporter and watches the games very closely. Does the game get to 3?
I'm a supporter, but I'm only a fan of who I have a ticket on in my pocket. Yeah, I think it may go to 3. I'm rooting for the Steelers. I think the game may go to 3. Steelers, we've talked about their troubles on the road. They're 0-3 on the road this year. They're 1-5 on the road in their last 6 road games going back to last year. They couldn't have asked for a better opponent. The Steelers own this team. They're 8-2 against them in the last 10. They swept them last year. They beat them 24-17 at Cincinnati. They beat them 35-7 at Pittsburgh. And this was a Bengal team that, Brian, you and I talked about earlier, made the playoffs last year, and the Steelers blew them out twice. I wouldn't call 24-17 a blowout, but they won easily in that game. It wasn't that close. I think the game's going to go to 3. You like the Steelers, bet them now.
Like I always say, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter, and that's just what he is. He's a supporter of his Steelers, and that's fine. They are an up-and-down team. I love this Roethlisberger, though. He is so cool, under fire. I love this guy. But let's talk about their injuries. We got Palomalu done. His career's probably over. He's a great performer on the field. He's hurting so bad, bringing him down to a much lower level. Gilbert and Pouncey on the offensive line probably not playing. Mendenhall's going to have limited time. The St. Dwyer's coming back. Redmond's hurt. Woodley's hurt. Team can't win on the road. Talking about a Cincinnati team, though, that they could be 5-1. Blow their last 2 games, Miami and Cleveland. The number's probably correct. Last 2 games, 2010, Pittsburgh was 5 at Cincy. Last year, they were 3.5 at Cincy. Now they're down to 1.5 to 2.5. The number keeps going down for a reason because Steelers keep going down on the road.
But the betting public and the odds makers actually have this Bengals team tabbed pretty good. That game, the number against, we mentioned this in a video last week, the number against the Dolphins, you're doing a double take and the numbers telling us Miami's live. Then Cleveland beats them, and that was a low number, too.
Well, the Bengals lost 34-24 to the Browns with Andy Dalton throwing for 381 yards. Yeah, he did throw 3 interceptions and a pick 6. But they held the Browns to 3 and out 7 consecutive times, the Bengals did, and they lost the game. Ben Roethlisberger finds a way to win. If you can lay less than 3, bet the Steelers.
He's usually right on the Steelers. I would probably lay off the opportunity to bet Cincinnati in this spot. I'd go against everything that the work says to do, and I'd probably lay the 1.5 or the 2, maybe even 2.5, because he says so, and that's good enough for me.
Well, the one thing I will say, this is not your granddad's Pittsburgh Steelers team. 77 yards rushing a game. That's not how Pittsburgh likes to play football. But they usually like to win against Cincinnati. We'll see how it pans out. For Richie Bachelari, Ricky Herron, I'm Brian Blessing. Thank you for stopping by the Line Makers on Sporting News.